Welcome to the CBS Eye on Money podcast. Hello. It's our second show, live show of 2022. Mark, how you doing saying 2022 so far?
No trip ups yet.
This so far in my life, 20, 21, 22, it's all the same. I don't really care. It's all like just, the crap times. But it's really the best of times for us because we've had such an amazing time to launch this podcast, to grow our other podcast, Jill on Money, to have a community like you guys have provided for us. So it's been really great, just amid an overall crapo time. Would you think that that's the right term, Mark, crapo?
Crapo, yeah. For the past couple of years, crapo, yeah?
Crapo, yeah, that's good. I think that's good. We are here to try to take the mystery out of your financial life. We're here to try to answer your financial questions. And if you've got a burning issue, it can be your personal finance. It could just be that you have a question about something small and what you think is not that significant. And maybe you just want another set of eyes or two sets of eyes and ears to help you out. We'd love to hear from you. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the contact button. While you're on that website, on jillonmoney.com, just do this. Why don't you bookmark it and tell us what you think about the new, beautiful, Mark, I can't say it enough. Were you surprised when I was felling about the website? I wrote to both you and Karen directly, and I said how great a job you guys did. It's amazing. I had nothing to do with it, really. You guys did a great job.
You only saw it when it was ready to go.
Well, I know. Mark did hide it from me, but there's immense trust that I have in you. So you did a lot of that groundwork, and I appreciate that. I always appreciate Mark. Okay. And I appreciate you all, and I appreciate our listener, Camille, who's on the line from Southern California, regaling us with how chilly it is in the 60s in Southern California. So damn you, Camille. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Mark and Jill. I just want to thank you guys so much. My husband and I love listening to both of your shows every day and discussing them in our kitchen while we wrangle our two little ones.
So let me ask you a question. Wasn't it a joy to start hearing Mark's voice on a regular basis?
It really was. That's why I personally prefer one of the shows over the other just for that reason alone.
I know, of course, everyone likes it. If you listen to Eye on Money, then you don't know how good you have it. But if you go to the other show, it's like, oh, but that's how I got him to agree to do a second podcast. I basically said, you have to be on the air with me.
Camille is now my favorite listener.
Camille is the favorite listener of this moment. He's very fickle, and it could change. So, Camille, how's life in Southern California? Pretty nice, huh?
It is. The weather is great. But yes, like I agree how you said crapo year. It's been a whirlwind.
How many kids? You said you had two kids. How old are they?
We have two. We have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Ooh, you're busy. Mark's having a tough time with his kid, his 2.5-year-old. Is that right? 2.5, Mark?
2 years, 7 months. After sleeping beautifully, Vanessa, for the first couple of years of his life, he's all of a sudden decided he doesn't want to sleep.
Oh, yeah, that's typical. You just add one more child to the mix just so that you have some more company.
I'm trying to get him to do the second kid, little baby Jill. All right, Camille, you got a husband, you got you. How old are you guys and what's going on?
So I am 38 and my husband is 37. We're calling mostly to first see if we're on track for retirement. And then unfortunately, my mother passed away in June of 2021. And so we have a bit of inheritance coming in. And so we want to make sure we're making the wise choices with that.
Oh, I am so sorry. So much loss also in these last 2 years, right? Ugh, it's awful. Yeah, it's just awful.
Unfathomable loss for sure.
Okay. So you guys both work?
We do. I'm a teacher and my husband's an engineer. Together we make about $250,000 a year, and then with an added bonus about $15,000 to $20,000 a year.
That's great. Fantastic. Are you, what do you teach? Are you, in elementary, middle, high school, college? What are you?
Yeah. So I'm at a high school where we serve at-risk youth. They're at risk for either not graduating or for other, life events that have happened to them. So I actually teach 11th and 12th graders, and I teach economics, history, and personal finance.
Holy smokes, you're right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Oh boy, I'm glad. I mean, if you think we're doing a good job, that's good because you're a pro. This is fantastic.
I try to teach the fundamentals that you teach your audience.
Oh, that's awesome. So you live in Southern California. Do you own your home?
We do. Yes.
How much would you say it's worth?
It's worth about $1 million, and we owe about $630,000.
Did you buy it recently? Is this something you've owned for a while and when refinance? What's the story behind the house a little bit?
We actually bought it at January 2020. So
really?
Yeah, right at a very weird time. And we refinanced. We're on year 2 of a 20-year loan at 2.75% interest.
Oh my God. You refinanced to shave time off?
Yeah, at that time, I guess maybe we weren't listening too heavily, but we just wanted to be more aggressive, maybe, I don't know, just for our own security purposes, but we're open to suggestions.
We're not touching that now. Don't make extra payments. Do not make extra payments, okay? Please. Now tell me about the retirement accounts.
Yes. Okay. So we have in traditional retirement accounts, which include old accounts and current ones, we have $485,000 in traditional. In Roth retirement accounts, which include our current contributions for our current employers, we have $155,000.
Oh, that's fantastic. And are you going to be entitled to get a pension if you put in enough time?
I am. Conservatively, it will be about $60,000 a year.
That's great. So those are your retirement accounts. And
I also worked 15 years in the private sector. So I'm not sure how it works in California, but I might be entitled to some of my Social Security as well. But I know there's some rules sometimes with teachers. Yeah,
sometimes you have this thing called the windfall elimination provision, but I think you might get it. Actually, I'm interested to see. We'll have to see. That's going to be a further conversation with Social Security, I presume.
Yeah.
And you guys are both maxing out your retirement accounts?
I am maxing out my Roth 403B, and my husband he's doing 8% into his Roth 401k, about $15,000 a year, and he gets a 3% match from his employer. Okay.
And with you maxing and him almost maxing, we'll talk about why he's not maxing. How's your cash flow?
We're doing well. We spend about $11,000 a month just because of childcare and tuition and mortgage. But we're very comfortable.
Great.
He kind of reduced it a little bit just because we just wanted to add maybe a little bit more to our brokerage account. But
so let's talk about the brokerage account. What's in there?
We have an emergency fund of about 6 months, so it's about $65,000. And then we have a brokerage account which is at $40,000 right now, and we're contributing $750 a month towards that.
Any accounts for the 5 and 3-year-old 529s?
Yeah, we have for our 5-year-old we have $64,000.
Wow.
529, and for the 3-year-old we have $44,000.
Holy smokes! Mark, how do you like those numbers?
I like them.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing we have, and I think that's everything, is we have some short-term funds for like home improvements and vacation, and we have about $30,000 in that account.
In general, are you using index funds? Are you using managed funds? How are you doing individual securities?
They're index funds.
Great. And are you generally aggressive because you're in your 30s? Like, what's your risk appetite?
We're kind of a foot in both worlds. So we have about 60% in U.S. stock index, 10% small market index, 15% non-U.S. index, and 15% U.S. bond index.
That sounds perfect. So as you look forward, tell me a little bit about your aspirations around retirement and where you think you're going and how long you want to work and those kinds of sort of big life goals.
Yeah, so for the time being, I mean, we're both pretty comfortable and stable in our jobs. I think we could see ourselves working until 62, 65 in our current jobs. I am, a little nervous. Just the past couple of years have been really kind of burnout years in teaching.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of nervous about that. I have thought about getting my CFP and helping out my just immediate Latino community here in my small town. And I would love to, that would be a dream I have, is to help out during the summertime with people's financial planning kind of in the lower income levels. So that's something that I'm kind of wondering if, I'd like to invest in that education there. But that's kind of where I see myself headed, is staying and teaching, but also kind of giving back, what I've learned to my community.
You're so great. I mean, not only are you an at-risk youth teacher, but now you're going to give back even more, which is, now let's get back to, I think, what the other part of this, which is the inheritance, because it sounds like your mother did a pretty amazing job creating you, this wonderful creature who's doing what you're doing for a career and also wanting to give back. So first of all, do you have siblings?
I do. I have 2 siblings that I'm trying to help get, organized with their finances. So basically, we inherited my mom's retirement account. Some of that we've already moved into, our various funds, and there's about $39,000 remaining in the inherited IRA, and my siblings have, theirs. And then we still have my mom's condo to sell, of which, each of us will probably get about $80,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big chunk of money. Tell us a little bit about your mom. Like, what were the things that she would like? Did she have any intention around like where she wanted her money to go besides just to you? Is it something that like, would it be honoring her to, sort of use some of the money from the condo sale to top off your 529 accounts? Like, what do you think?
I think she would have loved a mixture of both providing for their schooling and then also just traveling, something that she never got to do. She died pretty young, she was 62.
Oh my God.
She had a lot of aspirations to travel and just, just enjoy a little bit more since she worked so hard. And yeah, so that's, I don't really want to spend everything on travel, but I'd like to make some room for it since we haven't really prioritized that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, it sounds like you guys are completely on track to do the stuff you want to do. I have a feeling that the first thing Mark is going to tell me is to say, why isn't your husband maxing out his Roth? Is that right, Mark?
He's so close.
So close. Just max it out. You know, it's fine. Just max it out. Because I think what you should do is let's have him max that out. And now, essentially, the inherited IRA, you have a beneficiary IRA set up already?
Yes.
Okay. So that money will move in there. You have to take it out over the next 10 years, right?
Yes. We're taking it over time just to stay at our 24% tax bracket.
Perfect. You're right on it. Okay. So from this condo sale, will there be any expenses or do you think you'll really net $80,000?
I think we'll net $80,000.
Okay, great. I have an idea about how I want the $80,000 to go. You tell me what you want. Mark first.
Well, I'm guessing you want to top off the 529 plans.
Of course I do. But I don't want to do it all. So what if, Mark, how much do they need to have? Are your kids going to go to California schools? I mean, my God, you got the UC system. So do I have to pay for a private university?
I hope so. That's our wishes, but yeah, we'll see.
How much money has to go into these 529 plans just so they can stop contributing for a while?
Maybe if they're both around 80 or so.
That's exactly the number I was thinking. So I want to top them off. I want them both to be at 80 grand. So you have 64 in one of them, right? And 44, is that right?
Correct. 64 in the 5-year-old, 44 in the 3-year-old.
So let's put that money aside. Let's get them both up to 80. Of that, then the next, say, let's put 18 grand in your travel fund. Okay, 70. And then let's put 10 grand in your brokerage account. So I think that's right. I think it goes something like about 50 grand in the 529s, 20 grand in the travel, 10 grand or so, like whatever, however you want to do this is fine. And then we're kind of doing a few things at once. Number one, in that short-term vacation house fund, you're putting a chunk of money, but you got to take vacations and do it, right? So you got to honor mom and take like a great trip. Number one. Then we're kind of also taking your husband off the hook from putting more money in that brokerage account by adding that 10, right? So he can go back to maximizing his Roth and he should be a happy camper. At that point, what's interesting to me is what your cash flow needs. If you're not putting money in that 529, how are you managing? Are Are you using like your bonus to put money in the 529 plans, or are you contributing monthly into those?
We were contributing monthly. We recently stopped contributing because we thought, oh, we'll just let kind of time do its thing.
Yep.
But we also have the kids' other set of grandparents put $1,000 a year into each account. I don't know how long that'll last, but it's been going on for a couple of years. So that's really nice.
Okay. That's great. So then, even if you wanted to put like 75, you want to top them off at 75 each. And then your rest of your cash flow, I think the cash flow should go something like this. You're both maxing out your retirement accounts. And then beyond that, you stop doing the kids' accounts. You now start putting extra cash flow into the non-qualified or the brokerage account, and you let it rock and roll just like that. And I don't think you need to do much more than that, because the pension is going to essentially fund a lot of your need, right? In terms of the, getting your CFP, whenever you want to do that, start doing it. How much does it cost to get your CFP, Mark? If you were to do because obviously Camille is a studier because she's an educator. So if you did self-study on the CFP, how much you think we should set aside for that? It can't be that much money, right?
Yeah, I was going to say 7 to 10 grand.
Okay, so go do that. I mean, do it when you have capacity to do it. Maybe not when you have both kids home. You know, but like when you feel like you're ready to do it, start doing it, and don't delay that, because I think that's going to give you I think it's going to give you a lot of joy to feel like not only you're giving back, but you're building your own base of knowledge. It will help you in your own job, first of all, which is kind of fabulous. But also, I think that it is you have a great interest in this, and why not do it? And I would say that you guys have done pretty much everything very, very wisely. Yes, of course, I wish you didn't have a 20-year mortgage, but you got it, and it's cheap, and so let's not worry about that. Do you have estate planning done?
We did just finally we did finally finish our documents. We're just waiting for them to get mailed. We did it online, and we just need to get them notarized. And we do have life insurance policies, about $1 million each.
I think you're in very good shape. Mark, is there anything else for us to add to this story? Because Camille has a good story.
No, I was going to ask, because travel is a pretty high priority to them. What's at the top of the list?
Oh, yes, good question.
I think we just want to take the kids camping in local, like state and national parks, and so I guess we could probably go pretty far on that, since it won't be too expensive.
You're not a glamper, you're a camper?
We're with
the glamorous camping.
With a 3 and 5-year-old, we're a little bit of a glamper family right now, just because it's more convenient with the little ones. But eventually, we'll just do regular old camping.
I can tell you that there's not one time in my life when I've ever said I want to go camping. I have to tell you that right now. This is being a little self-disclosing, Jill. Mark, how about you? Are you a camper?
I was a big camper during my high school days. I don't think I've done it since then.
I mean, maybe if I could glamp, but
maybe
really,
you guys need to come to California. The weather's a lot more forgiving.
Well, I was going to say that the time I went camping, when I was a camper, meaning I went to, like rich Jewish girl summer camp, and they say, oh, we're going to go camping. I never a camper. Okay. Nothing. So, okay, we go. It's a cold, rainy August evening. We have very bad equipment. Water is pouring in the tents. It's very unpleasant. And I wake up the next morning and I have a spider bite on my eye, and my eye is swollen shut. And I am 11 years old, and I go back to camp. And this is how you know I'm sassy Aunt Jill, even when I'm 11. I say to the camp director, I'm never going camping again. And he looks at me and he's like, I kind of believe you when you say that. And I never did. And I went to that camp for 7 years. I never went camping again. They would go on big trips. I wouldn't go.
At least it means you're a person that honors their word.
Exactly right. I got a little bit lucky, though, because my father said to me, how are you getting away with not going? Because the director of the camp and his son were big tennis players. So my trade-off was, instead of going camping, I had to play mixed doubles with them for 7 years. So I did that. It was a good trade-off for me. It has been an absolute delight talking to you, Ms. Camille in Southern California. We're very sorry for your loss. Truly. It's too young and a little too close in age to me. I have to be honest with you. Is there anything else we can do for you?
No, I really appreciate your advice, and we will take that to heart. Thank you so much. We'll keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Go get that CFP and make us proud. Okay, if you, like Camille, would like just a little bit of a drill down, make sure you're on the right track, just give us a shout. Go to jillonmoney.com, click on the contact button, and when you get that contact form, it's going to say, do you want to come on the air or not? And if you do, guess what? Mark does all the rest. It's so easy. While you're on the website, please sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday, also known as tomorrow for you guys. Okay? And we really do appreciate you. We really do. So if you wouldn't mind sharing this with folks that you think would benefit from it, you can follow Eye on Money wherever you find your favorite podcast, of course. And don't forget that Mark Talercio is our co-host and executive producer. We are distributed by Viacom CBS. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and we remind you to put your hands metaphorically on someone's back. Someone may need you today, okay? Curiosity, compassion, community, that is our mantra. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.